Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And I figured I would just let you guys know what I plan on talking to you guys about today. So, why we waited to have kids. And I thought about this idea because, well, one, that's like something tons of people have asked us like the whole time we were waiting, when are you guys going to have kids? When are you guys going to have kids? And I feel like it's like more common nowadays that a lot of people are waiting to have children. So figured I would just share with you guys why Nick and I decided to wait so long. When Van will be born, I'll be 27 and Nick will be 30. So we're not old, but we are older. And so that's pretty much what I'll be talking about today. And for those of you that have kind of watched some of my other videos and are interested in our life, I want to give you guys an update on Leo, because Leo is our golden retriever who's been having some gastrointestinal issues for pretty much this whole month. So I figured I'll update you guys on that and we'll go from there. So we went and got our ultrasound on Tuesday for Leo, and the ultrasound came back pretty good, honestly. Nothing bad. We could rule out cancer, which was something we were worried about, like in the back of our minds. And so we can rule out cancer. And what she did find was that his adrenal glands were a little bit smaller than normal, which means they're probably not producing enough hormones for him, which what they just, what's the word I'm looking for? Diagnosed him with was Addison's. I think I'm saying that right. Addison's. So that's what she thinks he has, Addison's. There is a specific blood test to determine if that's exactly what he has. And we figured he stopped taking his antibiotic on Friday. And typically what happened last time was about a week after the antibiotic, then he started having his symptoms again. So we're going to wait another week to see if his symptoms pop up. If they do, then we're just going to go ahead and get the test for Addison's. But if you watched our live stream on 4th of July for our yoga, then you know that I told you guys about Leo when we took him to the dog park, and he's limping and he has all these like issues. And it's just like, when it rains, it pours, because him having all these gastrointestinal issues, and then all of a sudden his legs like not working. It's just like, what now? Can we solve one problem at a time? But it got really bad and he couldn't even walk. He was walking a few steps, sitting down, walking a few steps, sitting down. So we were like, we literally need to take him to the vet again, because he can't even walk now. So we took him back to the vet, and his legs are moving great. We thought possibly hip dysplasia because he's a golden and that's common. And he's not, that can happen to a 2-year-old golden. It doesn't really matter the age. It's just kind of, I think it runs in their certain bloodline in that specific breed. So we were worried about that. Well, we found out that it wasn't that, because his legs are moving great. But when she decided to, when she was palpating like his spine on his butt and moving his tail, he didn't like that at all. So we actually realized that it's a disc issue in his back, and which is not common for a golden retriever breed. That is not common at all for them. So she thinks it's kind of like a degenerative disc disease of some sorts, because he didn't have like an injury. So usually a dog would have have been hit by a car or something, and then they would have these kind of issues. And that's obviously not the case with him. So it's just a degenerative thing. So typically it's treated with steroids, but because we might have to get that blood test done next week, steroids would mess with the blood test. So we have to just do an anti-inflammatory right now. And he's like, my golden retriever is on bed rest pretty much. He said, no movement for like the next month. He has to be, when he goes out back, he needs to be on a leash because he can't be just trotting around. So it's going to be a rough month for him, but anything to heal him up, because something like this, if he say he jumps out of the truck or something and he injures himself, he could literally be paralyzed. because of the inflammation in the discs, and it presses on that spinal cord. It's messy. So Hugh is once again wanting to join me. As soon as I started this live chat, he pops his head up, and he's like looking around. So he loves the attention that you guys give him. So, hey everyone, thanks for joining in. I was just updating everyone on our Golden Retriever Leo for those that have been kind of following and wanted to know what's going on. But I pretty much, what I was going to share with you guys today is why Nick and I decided to wait to have kids. And I love hearing your guys' stories of why you waited or why you didn't wait, or, just the decisions that you guys made. Or I like talking to you guys in the chat. And yes, someone says, fortunately, in a single level home. I know, because it's really bad right now. I don't know what we would do if not. But I also have something exciting to show you guys. We officially have 4 gifts. Well, let me put him out of the room. Okay. All right. So Nick has been checking I have been having him check the P.O. box because that's what's linked to our baby registry. And we have 4 gifts officially for our virtual baby shower that's going to be in September. So I'm not opening anything that comes through the P.O. box. So if you send us a gift, then make sure you follow along so you guys can know the date when we do our virtual baby shower. But it'll be a really fun time. So I'm excited. But we have 4 gifts officially. They're just sitting in the nursery waiting. So awesome. And again, if you like my content, if you find it interesting, know someone that might relate to it, just like and share, subscribe with someone that might be able to either give me some advice or, contribute to the conversation, anything like that. That's kind of why I do this little vlog and, share my life, Nick's life. This is kind of like our family vlog. So we like having you guys to be a part of it. So anyone that would enjoy something like this or can relate, just send it to them and have them subscribe. So thank you. I just got this dress from TJ Maxx. They finally stopped making us wear masks, so I decided to go back in there. But I was boycotting them. So, but I really like it. Dresses are the only thing I can wear right now because I don't know if you remember, but I wore these overalls a couple live streams ago, and I said they were getting close. Well, they got close. They're done. Those overalls, I tried them on yesterday, and they were not fitting me anymore. So that was like the last pair of pants I had that I could fit into. But someone said, did you check about doing the raw diet? That is still an option because of having the intestinal issues. If we can't figure it out right now, we just changed his food to a regional red, and that's still an option. So if you want to drop those specific channels, I'll definitely look them up and get more information, but that's still up in the air as an option. And thank you, everyone. So let's just get into it. So if you didn't watch the live stream about how I met my husband, then I'll just give you a little bit of background. So we met when Nick was 21 and I was 18. So we were still pretty young. People have children all the time that age or get married or whatever, but that really wasn't the case for us. I was looking still to go into college, and Nick was still struggling with his recovery thing. So neither of that was a good environment to have a child. But, I have been on birth control pretty much since I was young. So 14. So that was just not something my parents just always told me just be careful, because pretty much once you have a child or something, you get pregnant, there's really not much you can do. It's a great thing, but it also can be really hard when you're young. Both of my parents were very young. I shared with you guys before that my dad had me when he was still a senior. So he still had a whole year of high school to go through, and my mom was only a year ahead of him. So they were, the typical young parents, and a lot of struggles came with that. So, Nick and I weren't thinking about having kids, but also making sure that we were being smart to not have kids. And a couple things that we've learned along the way is we're extremely grateful now to be able to welcome, our son into the world, because we just wanted to wait for the right time. And I know everyone's like, there's never a right time to have a baby. And that's probably true for a lot of people, but us, it does feel like the right time because, we have nothing else going on. And, or maybe we've just moved past the idea of it's the right time. So I always was told that there's never a right time to have a baby. You just do it. And Nick would always joke, like, we're not planning to have a kid. People just accidentally do that. So I guess it's just, how your life goes and where it takes you. But, we just wanted to wait until the right time. And it didn't feel like the right time until within the past year and a half, 2 years of when we were like, okay, we think like we're going to start trying soon. We think we're ready. We want to have a baby. And that's kind of how it started. But, in the beginning, Nick and I were super committed to each other, but that doesn't mean just because you're together with someone for a couple years, after 5, actually really after like 2 or 3 or 4 years, you see couples starting to like, do the next steps. Sometimes that's have a baby. I have friends that got pregnant within a year of being with someone. Like, it's really that's their thing. But like, we were committed to each other, but that just wasn't the next step that we were willing to take. We were committed, but we felt no need to rush, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, we had our whole lives. We were still really young. And in my head, to me, that's really young. And you have to understand that when I say a really young, I mean, my mom had a child when I was in 10th grade. So I was still raising children when I was in high school. And I'm the oldest of 7. So, I remember being in 3rd and 4th grade and having to stay home from school to watch my 2 younger sisters because they couldn't go to daycare that day, or their babysitter didn't show, like whatever the reason, I've had to stay home multiple times to watch them. So from being very young and then high school, my mom having a baby, an accidental baby, but still a baby. And like I just never stopped being like a caretaker. And maybe that's also that role of that older sister. So if you guys can relate to being that older sibling or that older sister, like that parenting role, you feel like never really ends. And even though I'm super maternal, I was still raising children. So it was almost like when my mom passed away and my grandmother took over raising my sisters, and then my youngest sister, her dad, decided to come into the picture and start raising her. Then it was kind of like I'm not doing this anymore. It was like a weird transition for me, almost like an identity crisis for me. Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Because I've always been helping my mom. So it was like kind of weird. But, it was just, I just felt like I had been raising children my whole life in a sense, for my age, raising children. And when I was in school, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I think most women, and not all, but most women go through at one point in their life, like, I don't want kids. Like, whether they're just like partying or they're not in a relationship or they're just chilling or they just like hear a screaming kid at a restaurant. They're like, I am not having children. And I think that's where I kind of was when I met Nick and we, at first year dating, like, I am not having kids. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm good. Maybe I'll be the cool aunt. Everyone wants to be the cool aunt. Maybe we'll adopt later, but I'm good. Like, I just don't want to sacrifice my body for that. I'm good. Like, just having no interest in it. And I think, I don't know. I think that's common for girls at some point, whether teens or early 20s or something like that, to say something like that. And everyone says, oh, you'll change your mind. Oh, you'll wait. I know people get annoyed at that too. Like, no, if I don't want kids, you don't have to push it on me. Like, whatever. But she said, Elizabeth Horn said, I had my daughter in 1975, and back then everything was carefree and half planned. That's kind of how, I feel like that's how it's been for a long time. I think that 2000s generation, my generation, I was born in 94, but we are like way more like we're not doing that. So less carefree, more planned. But things were they weren't easier, but I guess everything was starting later for us, if that makes sense. So before you were moved out and you had your own house and things, you were doing things earlier. Now kids are staying home later. So maybe that's also a reason people were waiting longer to have children. And yep, you raised your little sister. Your mom had 7 kids. My mom had 5 girls, but I was the oldest of 7. So all around just being the big helper, big sister. And so just that childhood trauma and learning about myself. I shared with you guys why I went the college was a scam live stream about going through college and learning about myself, that me search. And there was no room for children. Had I had a child at that time, I wasn't emotionally ready. I was very much still going through processing my pain and my trauma that I went through as a child and learning how to cope and deal with it so that I could, 1, move past it, 2, learn from it, 3, be able to help other people, 4, explain it to myself, explain it to other people. It was a true experience where I was really just learning about myself. And obviously my family is more than supportive. Had I had a baby from then till now, everything would have worked out how it was supposed to work out. But I did, and I learned a lot from that. And just, I think, and I'm going to speak for Nick too, because he came from a little bit of a harder childhood as far as one parent not really being there a lot, different people showing their love differently, and, having a hard time. I want to say broken home, but everybody's broken home looks different. So his broken home was his parents not getting along, still married, just not getting along. And, a lot of fighting, things like that. And it's like, how do you avoid that as the child or the child of that? Like, how do I avoid not having being a teen mother? Or how do you avoid growing up in a home with a lot of fighting and not being argumentative? And I think that's really hard to, in your early 20s. You either go one way, right? You're like, I am never going to be like that. And you do everything you can to avoid it. And you almost go the extreme opposite way. So maybe if you grew up in a home that was extremely argumentative, you're all the way on the other end of the spectrum now, where you don't say anything and you just bottle everything up. Right. And that's not healthy either. So I think you go that way, or you end up just like your parents, which you don't want. So I think both of us having different childhoods, but having things that were hard to overcome, just like every single person in the world. It's just like, it was enough to scare us to be like, no, it's not time. We're not ready. We haven't learned enough. How do we ensure that we're going to be good enough? Or there's enough kids out there with crappy lives. Let's just take one of them and make their life better, like adoption, something like that. And I just think that was something that was a serious problem up until a couple years ago, honestly. So PCOS, I'm not sure I know what that is. Someone said my daughter has PCOS and already has had 2 miscarriages. I'm not really sure on a lot of the terms that women, like, I know there's certain things that women have that are conditions where they can't have children or they have trouble, but I'm not sure of the what that means. And this other woman said, my daughter tried everything for years to have a baby. She went to her doctor and found that she had cervical cancer. They got the cancer, but did a full hysterectomy complete. So also there's a lot of women out there that can't have children. And when Nick and I did decide to have children, it took us a couple months to get pregnant. And they tell you, when you're young, 6 months to a year, after a year trying to conceive, go to your doctor. And then if you're older, after 6 months trying to conceive, go to your doctor. So we were about 6 months in when I was like, oh no, like, I hope nothing's wrong. That's why I always say birth control is a scam, because we don't know what it can do to your body long term. I was on it for over a decade. So I was upset thinking that birth control just like ruined my body. And now one of the most natural things, which is getting pregnant, I'm struggling to do. But, I'm after trying to conceive, my heart feels differently I think for so many women that have had miscarriages, have tried to have baby and struggle with that. So I definitely, it's a new thing that I have empathy and sympathy for more than I did before, because I can understand why that would be hard, or just those emotions that you can kind of go through. So I think also a lot of things, like when you're growing up, there's a certain belief system that you have about how things are supposed to be. And it's not your own experiences, it's what you were told. So I know a lot of us grew up like spanking, and that was like a thing. And that's pretty much the only kind of reinforcement you had in your house. And while I don't like not believe in spanking, I think that there are other ways out there that we can discipline or reinforce behaviors. And had I just, had a kid at the age of 20, I wouldn't have had the time to do my own like research or kind of see how I wanted to do things differently. And I just immediately do things the way my parents do it, because I've had no life experience. I just got done being raised, a couple of years ago. So I think that that's kind of a big deal also when people have children young. And if you had children young and then you had children when you were older, like, share your experience. What was it like having the first one versus the fifth one? Or, having maybe a sibling or someone having kids young and then having kids old. You hear that all the time, where, I'll be 30 years old when my youngest sister is 15. So that's a pretty big age gap. And I can imagine a 15-year difference of my mom raising me and my mom raising her. Like, we're going to be a little different. You're a different person, and you grow and you learn things. And even now, raising our firstborn, we're going to do things so much differently than when we have more later on, because we do plan on having more. So it's just, a learning experience. And while I'm still in my 20s, I'll be 27. I think that 7 years of being in my 20s, I have had so much experience and really just discovering myself, Nick discovering himself, and then together our strengths and our weaknesses as a couple, where what can we do differently, or making decisions, making choices. And as far as the relationship, we were, when you're young, and we hadn't went through as many things back then, where now we've been through a lot of things together, and I know how Nick's going to handle this specific situation. I can almost guarantee how he's going to handle it, and I can help him, or I can, get help for him if I need to, or he knows how to read me. And those are things that come after dealing with traumatic situations together, after being in really happy situations together, after moving across the country together. Like, these are things that you can only get from experience of being with your partner for a long time. And this is just another task for us to do, like something fun for us to do together. And we're not naive. We know that it's going to be hard, but it'll absolutely be fun for us, because we're at a time in our lives where we don't have to worry about, basic needs like a place to live or food and things like that, a lot of people might have to worry about when they're younger having children. So it's definitely a good experience for us at this part, I guess, less of a burden, more of a joy. And there's a lot of things that we have learned, like skills, like communication skills, that I can now practice with my children and then also teach them. So, I talked about this also in my college is a scam live stream, where teaching, the reason I became a school counselor for elementary is because I wanted to teach students how to cope with things that they can't control. Like as a child, you pretty much can't control anything that goes on around you, your living situation, what you go through. All that you can control is how to cope with it. And that really defines how you cope with things later on in life. And I think that I would like to, now that I have that knowledge, because I went to college, and you don't have to go to college to be a good parent. I just specifically went to college about things that have to do with trauma and dealing with, students and stuff. So it's a little bit more fine tuned, and I can kind of organize my thoughts to say that is an unhealthy coping skill that we are not going to do. We're going to try this instead. So I think that waiting longer allowed me to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to have a kid, I'm still in college. I don't want to have a kid, I'm still in college. Something just always made me realize, like, eventually I'll want kids, but just right now I don't. And just having that time, and it's like, don't rush things. That was always something my family always told me too. Like, don't rush stuff. You have your whole life. You don't have to, get married, buy a house, have a baby within 2 years of a relationship, because not that life isn't fun afterwards, but those big milestones, you did them all already. Now what? Of course, there's tons of stuff to do, but when you're being like typical, that is like, now what? So we have lived in multiple houses together, and we know what we want. We know what we like. But I think also Nick and I spent our 20s figuring out who we were as far as people, and what are we good at, and what do we like to do. And we traveled a lot. I want to do a whole video on all the places that we've traveled, because we have traveled a lot. And hopefully we can be those parents that just take our children with us and continue to travel, and not let it stop, just because we get too busy with our children and stuff. So, and we have the money. Like, and if I was 21, the money I have now versus the money I had when I was 21, I was still learning how to be financially literate. I was still understanding, savings and checking and putting money away and not spending it, that instant gratification versus long-term gratification and those things. And I didn't understand any of that. And now I do, and I'm able to be financially stable enough where I could say, hey, do you guys want to go to, Disney next month or something? And then we can kind of, what I mean, plan that. Where I wanted to go to Disney World my whole life growing up. That was not an option. Absolutely not. Like, it was like a dream come true to go to Disney World. Like, and that is a possibility for so many kids, but just something that far out is just, you couldn't even imagine. And it's so different when you wait longer, and it's common. It's so much more common now. And I think I'm finally getting it. And the thing that people combat it with is they say, well, I don't want to be changing diapers in my 40s, or I don't want to be getting up kids ready for school. I want to do it now, so I'm chilling. And I'm like, that's basically the same thing. I don't want to be changing diapers in my 20s. I want to wake up the next day and say, I want to go to Hawaii, and I book a trip and I'm in Hawaii next week. As long as I got a sitter for my dogs, you know what I mean? So I think there is pros and cons to both, but that whole argument is really just people projecting that they had children young, and that's, whatever. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this term DINKs. It's DINK, and it's double income, no kids. And that's pretty much what Nick and I have been. We've been a DINK. And there is something so cool about being that for a little bit. That is not, neither of us want that for our whole lives, but so many couples do. And that's honestly great for them. Who knows what they've been through where they made the decision not to have children. But we double income, no kids for a long time. It was pretty cool. We got to do a lot of fun things, golfing on the weekends, smoking cigars every Saturday and Sunday. We go out to eat all the time. Like, those are luxuries that you don't get to do when you have children all the time until you kind of get the hang of it, or you're financially stable, things like that. So it's been fun. But now we're just like, this is fun, but it's not that it's getting old, but we're ready for something different. We're ready for something new. And I was talking to a lady that was sitting at my bar last week, and I explained, I said, yeah, well, we were getting kind of bored. So we decided, let's have a kid. And she thought that was hilarious. Like, hey, I'm bored. Let's have a baby. And it's like, I know, but you probably had your kids when you were, 21, 22, maybe 18. And you didn't get to think about that. You didn't get to do that fun stuff first. So you don't know where our thought process is. But it's just like, all this is great, but we're ready for something different. And a child would be pretty cool. So let's do it. And our family's excited and our family's ready. And it's the right time. It really feels like it is. And it's just been a great experience so far. And my family hasn't had a baby in the family in a couple years, quite a while. So that first grandbaby hit different. You know what I'm saying? Do you guys remember when you first became a grandma or a grandpa? Yep. I'm blessing my parents with a son. So we're doing all this. And also, when you are in your 20s, you're so selfish. Like, let's just be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves and say it for what it is. Like, our brains are like barely fully developed, right? I think men's brains are developed before women, I think. Or maybe I'm getting that backwards. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But like, it's like in your later 20s. So, I mean, I want to do what I want to do. And if I'm constantly conflicted with the desire or the drive, like having children, you have like this kind of, not resentment, but like you feel the need to catch up, if that makes sense. So I have friends that I've seen, like, they had kids really young, and now they're at the age where they're like trying to catch up, and they're like doing all the things that I did 5 years ago, if that makes sense. And it's kind of like, I don't know, they just missed out, so they're trying to catch up. I don't know. I don't want that to seem arrogant or ignorant. That's just that's from the outside looking in. That's what I see. And it's almost like backwards. Like, you're supposed to do that first before you had 3 kids. But to each their own. I guess who makes that timeline? So, oh, congratulations, Teresa. Your 3rd grandchild was just born. 1st grandson. I told you guys my mom had 5 girls. And my family's pretty evenly split, but I have way more aunts. No, the cat's trying to come in. I have way more women in my family than men. So a lot of my family was Team Blue, and my dad is pretty excited to have a son or a grandson. So it just worked out that way. And, well, we'll figure it out. We'll see how it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to go. This is why I don't like the cat in here, because I'm trying to talk to you guys and it's distracting. And he doesn't just sit on my lap. He wants to be pet. He wants to be up on the keyboard. He wants to be messing around. Like, he's not cool with just sitting. And like, this is just, you know, take a seat, little man. There we go. So, also, I have lived 7 awesome years with my dogs. They go everywhere all the time. And I know that they're going to take the back seat a little bit. They don't know it yet, but they're going to end up taking the back seat for a little bit when Van's here. And I'm just grateful that I was able to give them like such a life where they could go to the beach every weekend, which is what we do all the time. We always go to take them to the dog beach. Or all right, see, this is why they are a part of the family. He's got to know there's a baby in the belly, because he always likes to lay right on my belly. And he's definitely the show stealer. He is the most cuddly cat we've ever had. And we've had 3 or 4 cats. And Nick's like, he's getting annoying. But I'm like, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. He'll just lay on the floor with his like paws up like this. He just wants to be pet. I mean, even now he's laying here just going like this on my hand. Like, he just wants me to pet him. So he's just demanding. And I'm so excited for Leo, Rue, and Hugh to meet Van. I think that they'll just love him so much. He's going to be an animal person just like we are. But yeah, that's true. Brian said cuddly cats are a blessing and a curse. That's true, because they're so damn annoying. They're so needy. But they're so dang cute, you know? Because you've met cats before that are, they don't like to be pet. And it's like, well, now I want to pet you because you won't let me. And you kind of fight with them and run away. But I don't know. And yeah, so subscribe and share this channel to anyone that can relate. And we're here. We're just talking and chatting. Someone said, go down. 2 cats fight all night long. I haven't slept in 4 years. We have to keep our cats out of the house or a cat out of the room, because he just wants to claw on everything. And you know, cats are like psycho when they're little, or when they're at nighttime. It's like they're nocturnal, so they're just running around the house. We've lost any glass that's left on the counter, just gets swatted down. So we've lost quite a bit of glassware. And now we put that cat door up in the garage so he can kind of get some of his excitement out in the garage. Go out there. Teresa said that she was 24 when she had her first kid and had her last one at 32, and she wouldn't change it for anything. We are empty nesters in my early 50s. That's pretty good. Like, my dad is not even 45, and like he had kids later on in life too, because he has 2 young ones still at home. But I mean, they're not that young. But it's like they're not any less excited to have a grandkid now versus 10 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, they wouldn't have been able to move to Florida like they did for us, you know? So being an empty nester at 50 ain't that bad. Being an empty nester at, 50 and 40 is different. You can go for another round at 40. And what Chip and Joanna Gaines, didn't she just have a baby? She's 42 or something like that. So 2 crazy cat ladies left to dislike. Cheryl said, I wish I would have had as much sense as you when I was your age. I was too busy trying to get out of the nightmare I was in. I let others take advantage. I didn't know what birth control was. I think your situation, I think a lot of people could probably relate to that. My stepmom will be the first to tell you, like, her home life, she had my stepsister when she was like 16, and her home life, and she was with an older man. Her home life was just so traumatic that anything to get out of that life was a way out. And so bringing her daughter in, that it changed her life. It definitely did. But, maybe she probably doesn't regret it. Most women don't regret it. It's just things could have been so different if we had another way out. And I'm hoping that I'm grateful that wasn't my experience, and that I can, help my children or give them a better life that they don't have to heal from. That's kind of a big thing right now, right? Give your children a life that they don't have to heal from. They don't have to go to therapy for. Now, don't get it wrong. I need my kid to go through some tough shit, because that's what makes them resilient. And a little bit of trauma, I'll give them a sense of humor, right? That's why I always joke saying I'm not homeschooling my kids, because I need someone to pick on them at school so he can learn how to stand up for himself. If they're at home all the time with tender love and care, mom and dad, they might not know what it's like to have the kid down the neighborhood not liking because he got a stupid haircut. You know what I mean? So that's the experience that he needs to go through that you just can't get at home, right? And Forever One, are you having a home birth? Yes, we are having a home birth. That's another thing. 7 years ago, we would not have been even in the realm of the possibility of a home birth. We would have been so uneducated. We would have thought, oh my God, those aren't safe. What am I, crazy? I don't even have a home to have a home birth in. So I am now, and I'm 26, and I have a home that I feel safe enough and comfortable enough in, that this is where I decided I would like to bring my child into the world, and in our home. And I have the ability to do research and the access to the research to know what is best for my family. And that's definitely something that I am so grateful for. And I hear a lot of women, if you go on YouTube and you search up home births, you will hear a lot of women say, my first 2 were in the hospital, and, this one is my first home birth, or I've had 2 in the hospital, 2 at home birth. They will tell you straight up, they wish they had done all of them. They wish they had done all of them as a home birth, but they just didn't know. We just don't know. And waiting longer, again, is another thing I'm grateful for, because it has given me the opportunity to wait until I'm older and know that that's something that I want to do. And I feel like I truly am making the right decision for my family. And I say we want to have a home birth because that's our plan. But if anything goes wrong, or it gets closer and we're not able to do that, then that's something that we'll have to accept when the time comes to. But someone said we can't leave paper or money on the open. Our cat is the master shredder. Oh my gosh. And then someone said our cats are useless. Donald said our cats are useless. Don't like to pet it, vomit all over the place. Just found a dead bird in the house. We've all had cats like that. I'm grateful that that's not where we're at right now. But I feel you, because we've had cats like that. Nick's old cat, Tupac, every morning at 7 a.m. he'd scratch on the window. You had to be let in through the window. And one time he brought us a live bird. So 7 a.m., 2 18-year-olds, an 18 and a 21-year-old, probably drunk the night before still, got to let in this cat that Nick got for like 6 cigarettes. And he brings us in a live bird. And he didn't want to be pet. So, Tupac was a thug. So I am so thankful for the 4 years I waited to have kids. I look back at those moments with so much gratefulness, and I'm thankful for the time I have with my kids now, but it does rock your world. And see, I know it's going to rock my world, and my world was already being rocked all those other years. Like, I had so much going on that I don't think I could have, I don't think bringing a child into the world would have been the best for my mental health, his mental health, or the future of that child. Like, those mistakes that we could avoid if we had just waited a little bit longer. And I mean, even if I could wait even longer and make even more decisions that are better, but that's just not the time. So Liz said, how many kids do you want to have? I don't know. I told Nick that I'm never getting on birth control again. I truly feel like it messed up my body, and it took me a very long time to like come back from it. And I just don't think it's natural. I don't want to do it anymore. So I don't know what we're going to do. We haven't talked about it. But I'm not getting on birth control again, so we'll be doing other methods. So we'll see. But I had a big family, and Nick has 4 brothers, so 3 brothers. We'll see. At least, definitely 2, at least. Maybe 3. Mickey said, I got pregnant for my first at 16, never thought about abortion, never regretted it. Yeah, I think that's how my stepmom is. Like, her life was really hard, and she got pregnant, not on purpose, but kind of on purpose, if you know what I'm saying. And of course she doesn't regret it. You can't sit there and say that you regret it. That's a child is a beautiful thing, and abortion isn't an option for a lot of people, or they just don't believe in it. And it's not necessary all the time either. Like, besides the fact that she wasn't ready, she was 16 and she lived at home, nothing else was wrong, with her. She just, her boyfriend was older, so she had to, move out with him. But the situation where a lot of people want to get an abortion is like extreme. So I think that we can all relate to the fact that from being young, whether that's 16 or 20 or 26, and to where we are now, we have learned so much more. We have so much more experience to share and give. And I think that's why they always say, like, grandparents it's a different kind of love. And it's just because you're older and you have more experience, or from raising your first to raising your last, you just learn so much more. It's just different. And I'm excited to see the growth that we have for myself and also for Nick and us together, and where, how we are a year from now. Like, that's going to be exciting. And if we're still on YouTube and we're not banned, then we'll get to share that experience with you guys, and together what the growth has been. Me talking about it now before he's even here, to a year from now. I haven't matured at all. Nick said that. No. But Nick knows how to pay his own bills now, something he couldn't do when I met him, or dress himself. That's actually quite a bit of things he's learned since I met him. I guess dressing yourself is pretty important, and we still haven't figured that washing your hands after you use the bathroom. We haven't figured that yet, but we'll get to that one. Hopefully by the time the baby's here, we can tackle that one thing at a time. And I'm excited I said this before, my youngest sister is like 11. So I haven't really, it's been a while since I had a baby around. I've been dinking, double income, no kidding, in Florida. So I think all the things that we already do will just be greater. And I think a lot of you guys can relate to that. Like, life is just enhanced, and it'll be hard at first, and then we'll get the hang of it, and we'll continue to live the life that we're grateful to live. So, but like for example, a birth plan. Did any of you guys have a birth plan? So I'm asking that because that's like a new thing, and we're doing a birth plan. I already filled it out. Let's see, I have it right here. I already filled out my birth plan, but I just think it's so funny because it's like, oh, this is like legit. Is that what people do? They fill those out. Obviously, it's from my doulas, but it's pretty interesting just because, of course, I have a plan, but so many things on here I didn't even think about. Like, it kind of made me think about some things. Have the kid, that's the plan. Right. Get me out alive and the kid, I guess. I think it's for them to better understand like our choices, because if you guys know what a doula is, they help advocate for you through you. So if my midwife asks us kind of a difficult question, then my doula could say, do you want a minute to think about it? And then I could say, can we have a minute to think about it? Like that's kind of how they do it. So but it's also interesting because some of this stuff Nick and I have to talk about. For example, let me see. How would I like to spend the first stage of labor? I don't know. The questions are standing up, laying down, walking around, in the shower, in the bathtub. I'm thinking this first stage of labor, don't some women not even realize that they're in the first stage? Or do you it's what's happening? Hold on. Look up fertility awareness. This is what I use, but there are many options. Breath short, little breaths when it hurts. Long, deep breath when they subside. So how should I spend my first stage of labor? I don't know. I just put not sure yet. Will I decide then? Or should I commit to something now? Last night I was cleaning something at work and I spilled water everywhere. And someone was like, you can't do that to us. You're pregnant. And it looks like your water broke. And I thought, that's so funny because what if that really happened at work? They would be freaking out. That's always a joke that you're going to give birth. You're going to, go into birth at work, go into labor at work. Yeah. So see, someone said not always. You'll know, but then someone said not always. That's what I'm afraid of. Like, because I do have a high pain tolerance, I'll just be like, dang, I just got some cramps. Ugh. Or will I be like, oh, snap. I don't know. Remember about the breathing. That's all you need to know. I had a friend that just had a baby, and she said, listen to the breathing techniques. It's something I took for granted, and I wish I'd taken it seriously. And I'm like, thank you. That's like the kind of stuff I need to know. What should I take seriously? So I will, Nick and I are taking the Bradley method course. We're going to take a couple classes in August. Well, not a couple. And so we'll be able to practice that. But I'm like, that's good information. I need to know that the breathing is something that, I don't know. Mickey said, don't think you can commit now. I don't think I can either. That's why I put, I don't know. Maybe it's for women that already know, like if you already had a kid, you kind of know what you like to do. Like recently, like I'm like a person that likes to be in water. So whenever I don't feel good, I always take a shower or a bath. So when I was in my first trimester, I was in the bath like 3 times a day, or in the shower, like sitting down like 3 times a day because I just didn't feel good. And so that's like why I was like, I'm probably going to want to have a water birth because then that's where I feel like, I guess I feel vulnerable, but I feel comfortable and I can kind of just let my body do what it needs to do. That's just been my experience so far, but we'll see. With my first, I was in labor all day before I went to the hospital. Just watched something funny on TV until the contractions got close enough. That's the benefit, I guess, having a home birth. I'm just going to be chilling all day. Obviously, I won't have too many plans. And too many plans when it comes to Halloween. I don't know. Nick and I were laughing about it because I live in a neighborhood. So Halloween is like a big deal in my neighborhood. And we'll probably have like cars outside. People are going to think it's like Halloween. Come on in. So we're going to have to put a sign out in the yard, like home birth in progress. Like, please do not disturb. But it's like, is it a joke or is it serious? Are we being funny? Is this like a spooky house and you walk in and it's just like someone screaming, and you're definitely going to be scarred for life if you walk in or ring the doorbell. But hopefully he comes before Halloween so we don't have to learn about that. Someone said, don't eat when you are in labor. You will be sick the whole labor. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. I didn't think about that. What are the chances that I'll just go overnight, like have one of those 3 a.m. babies? We'll have to see. My wife learned the breathing method, but it sounded more like broom, broom. I try not to laugh. I know Nick's going to laugh at me. It's fine. He'll laugh, and I'll get violent. So, just kidding. Someone said, pant when it hurts, then take advantage of the time between. Have deep breaths. It got to be toward the end. I have a midwife, nurse, doc on standby. Kick them all out of the room. It gets real. Yeah, my midwife, I picked her because specifically she's very hands off. And so she will and that's been the reviews from other people. And she straight up tells you, I'm really hands off. I will let you do your thing. And then I'll pretty much only get in there when I need to get in there, which I think is what I'll probably want. I want Nick to play a very active role in the labor, which is why we are doing the Bradley method. Nick should know how to massage your back. You might have bad back. I have bad back pain now. I haven't been able to work out in 2 weeks over my sciatica, both sides. It just depends on which day I wake up and which side it is. So I could already benefit from his back massage now, but I think that's part of the Bradley method, is different massage techniques for your back and different breathing. I definitely want Nick to play a very active role in that whole process for me, because he needs to suffer a little bit. Just kidding. I would say it's a combination of all those things. Also find what comforts you. I held my husband's finger because I could feel his heartbeat. Lucky him. Van will arrive before Halloween. Speak it into existence. Before Halloween. Back labor sucks. Massage her. Massage me now. I'm trying to be positive because I'm officially 6 months pregnant. Let's see. I think I don't look very pregnant in this dress, but whatever. Officially 6 months. And we have about 3 to 4 months left, depending on when he likes to make his appearance. And 1 month I'll be in my 3rd trimester. And yeah. My husband passed out during labor. Oh, God. If Nick passes out, I'll be like, you know what? You couldn't even be at the labor? You couldn't even be at the birth? I'll be like, someone needs to splash water on this man. Get him up. More Libras. Van will be a Scorpio if we can't get him out early. I think what the cutoff date is October 24th or something to be a Libra. So we'll see. My mom, so they say you can usually tell your birthing method by your mom's birthing techniques, and it's usually a thing. So if you weren't induced or had a C-section or anything like that, you have a way that you guys do it. So maybe women carry longer, or maybe they go early or something like that. So my mom had us later, and also my sister was 10 pounds and I was 9 pounds. So we already know he's going to be a big boy. Pray for me. Oh, my friend Shauna's on here. Hey, Shauna. So we're just chatting about my birth choices, but why we waited to have kids. If you had a child, a home birth, was it planned, or did any of you guys have one accidentally at home? Someone said that, and I know there's been movies about it where you have a baby on the interstate, and I just think how does that happen? Is it because they waited so long to go to the hospital, or is my baby going to come that fast? I just wonder how that happens. I guess you have to give birth to know what if your baby's going to fly out of you or not. But I just think that's crazy. You literally can't wait. So the baby just can't wait till you get to the hospital or whatever. I mean, I'm having a home birth. My baby's not going to be born on the side of the road. Not going, well, you never know. I might be at Publix or something. That would be the most Florida thing ever, right? Having my baby at Publix. Or having my baby on, like, the interstate. I don't know. Next to having your baby at Disney World, right? Which, if you guys know me, I don't say no to a good time. So I'm going to go to Disney World if I was invited when it gets close. They just announced, I know a woman whose 2 babies came within 5 minutes. Her husband was a doctor. No warning. I could see. It's like, that's also a blessing, right? A blessing and a curse, because boom, babies are done. But also not boom, where are you at right now? You're about to have your baby in 5 minutes, you know? But, what I wanted to say was, George Strait just announced that he's going to have a concert in Georgia. And George Strait's one of my favorite country artists. And, but he's going to be in Georgia in November 4th. So, that's like 5 days after Van's due date. So we'll see. I would like to go, but we'll just play it by ear, right? If he's born early, I could definitely go. Strap that baby on. We're going to a country music concert. Babies are done. LOL. It's not an oven. It kind of is an oven. It kind of is. If you don't know, my body radiates like 103 degrees right now. I'm just sweating all the time. My house is on 69 degrees with 2 fans. My husband now has to sleep with a blanket over top of the comforter and fully dressed. He no longer gets the luxury of sleeping in his boxers. Shauna said she'll watch my baby while I go. See? Look, I already got a babysitter. We're going to George Strait. November 4th, 4 days postpartum. I had a 9-pound with pelvic block and a 10-pound natural with no meds. Say the least, I didn't want to do that again. No more kids for me. My hero, though. My hero. My mom had 2, 9-pound, 10-pounders back to back. And she had 3 more kids after that. So I don't know. She's just made for that. There used to be like a joke in high school. I was always like a bigger girl because I'm not fat. I'm thicker. So I've always been kind of built like that. And, in middle school and high school, people are mean. Like, they call you fat. And so I wasn't fat. I was just like, I had boobs and I had hips and stuff. So anyway, in high school, they were like, what do you want to, like, these people were just being rude. Like, what do you want to do? Like, when you graduate, you look like you're just made to have babies. And I'm like, what kind of backhanded compliment? Like, is it my hips that I look like I'm just I just look like I'm made to give birth? Like, what is that? I don't know, but I didn't. I'm doing it now, but someone said, you won't want to go. It'll all be about Van. I know. My friends are going to be like, no, you should definitely go so I can watch Van. I know I'm not going to want to go. Someone said, at the concert, you hungry and milk will shoot across the room. Yeah. I've heard about that. We'll see. Maybe George Strait will go on tour. I don't know. He's kind of old. He probably can't go on tour. But wouldn't that be cool? Little country baby. My child will be flow grown. If you don't know what that is, it means born and raised in Florida. So from, Nick and I, we're just a couple of Yankees. But, going back to topic, did she have gestational diabetes? Because that will make very big babies. I'm a type 1 diabetic. My last child was 10 pounds natural in hospital, no pain. My mom died when she was 37. And as far as I know, she did not have gestational diabetes. Me and Alexis were the big babies. The other ones were all normal sizes. So, like, normal, I mean 6, 7, 8 pounds. Those are like typical babies. But my aunt said it the other day. My aunt saw a picture of me on Facebook, and she said, looking like basically you're looking kind of big. You might here. I'm gonna be able to show you the picture. Might be big, Alexis, saying that the way I'm carrying, and he is measuring a little bit ahead, a little ahead of a couple days ahead. So here, I'll show you guys the picture that Nick took of me. Is that terrible? Is this hard to see? There we go. But I'm doing my maternity pictures next week for you guys. I want to show you. I'm really excited. But I decided to do them early because you can't. Sorry, I just heard someone yell. Anyway, I'm having my maternity pictures next week, and I decided that I know most people wait. Oh, he said stand up. I already stood up and showed you guys my belly, but I don't look that pregnant with my dress on, my very fancy dress I just got. So anyway, what I was trying to say was my face doesn't look that pregnant. I'm pretty much all belly right now. I don't look pregnant anywhere else. Okay, see, Brian heard it too. He's out there yelling. He needs to go do something. Go do the dishes or something, you know? You know what else? I know this might be like simple, but I looked up like ways to relieve sciatic pain, and they say you are. Thank you guys. That's so sweet. They said you're like leaning back because you're afraid to like fall over. You know, your weight's all disproportionate, and that's why your back hurts so much. Because I'm like, how can I relieve this pain? It's just too much. I'm like trying to work, and I don't want to be miserable at work, but I already wear the belly band and stuff. It's just getting hard. True diabetics have larger babies. I had large babies, and they tested me often for diabetes. I don't. Nick's chore is dishes. I don't do dishes. Again, oldest of 7. Do you know how many dishes I have washed in my life? When you don't have a dishwasher in the 90s because you're poor, you're just doing dishes every day, all day. The sinks are always full. I just blocked Brian. I'm gonna remove you as a moderator. This is my channel, not yours. Mickey Flynn, I love being pregnant. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's hard. I'm telling you guys, I'm recovering from being a selfish person in my 20s, so I want my body back. I miss being able to do burpees and smoking a cigar and fasting. Nick and I'm a big intermittent faster. And intermittent faster, is that even a word? Intermittent fasting, that's like a thing I do, and I haven't been able to do any of that, and so that's been like hard for me. He can't keep a channel. He said I just blocked Brian. He said not Brian, it's Bran. See, so that's why you're still here. He can't keep a channel. You got that right. What is this, like his 4th channel? Oh my God, I don't blame you. I hate dishes. They were 10 of us, and my stepmom's advice would put some elbow grease into it. No, seriously, like it's different when you're doing dishes so young that you got to pull the chair up to the counter just to get to it, and your shirt's soaking wet, and it's like you got to wash the dishes and dry them and put them away. Oh, come on, dude. I would rather be outside like making mud pies, and I'm doing dishes for a family of 20, it felt like. So now that's like, Nick's mom was a stay-at-home mom his whole life. I don't think they cooked very much, but he didn't have to do a lot of dishes growing up. He got to put in some elbow grease now, right, Roberta? This is time. I would get grounded for a month at a time. It was like a restaurant. Seriously. I didn't love being pregnant, but I missed it when I wasn't. That's what Shauna said. Dude, I think that'll probably be very true. And I'm trying not to take it for granted because it is, compared to a friend that I have that's pregnant, that's got a lot going on, and just other people. It was, I look great. I generally feel good. Every day I have a new ailment, whether it's my back or my feet or my head, whatever. But that's just a small price to pay for. Remember, I have a parasite living inside of me, sucking all my nutrients and everything that my body needs to survive, and sucking it out and using it for their own strength. And so I have to overcompensate. So, that's really a small price to pay. And nothing compares to that first trimester. Oh, first trimester. A woman told me the other day, and I don't know, you guys can tell me if this is true or not. They said if your first trimester is absolutely terrible, you will have an easy labor. So let me know how you feel about that. If that's true, I will be very grateful, because I had a rough trimester. I mean, losing 10 pounds, not even being able to work. I just laid limp in the shower for days. So if that's the case, bring it on, baby. Bring it on. Let's see. I love intermittent fasting and honored it. You should, after the baby, of course, do some shows on intermittent fasted. Absolutely. I have always had a problem with overeating. That has been something that I struggle with my whole life. Overeating, like being basically very gluttonous with food and sweets, because also I think it's a side effect of growing up poor, like just never wasting any food, having a hard time throwing away food, not necessarily knowing when your next meal is, because I'm an adult now. I mean, I could blame it on that, but generally I didn't miss. I had a lot of, I mean, I guess I did miss a lot of meals. Yeah, it probably is a thing. But I would just eat to the point that I literally would be sick. And I wouldn't, or I couldn't stop doing that. And that was like a problem. So when I found intermittent fasting, it was still pretty, I mean, it's still pretty controversial for women, they say, but it was the only thing that made me feel like I had control over my body and eating. And I understood the calories. It was just, it made my life manageable. So that's why I really like intermittent fasting. And nighttime eating is a big problem for me, like snacking at night, because I work late. So I'm definitely will be doing that once the baby is born, because it's the best way that I can feel in control of my body. And also that's how I manage it. It's how I manage my sides. So, the nerve for your back is at the top of your heel. Cheryl, you're making me want to look that up. Sciatica sucks. Laying on the floor, a small pillow supporting your lower back with a neck pillow or a rolled towel under the nape of your neck can give you some relief. I'm going to have to Google some of these positions. I have a pillow. So I am the kind of sleeper, everyone has like a certain thing. How they like, I like hard mattresses, flat pillows. Like that's my sleeping combo. Whether you like firm mattresses, fluffy pillows. Like sometimes my neck hurts so bad I just sleep without a pillow. I'm just like raw dogging it on the freaking mattress, just like this, because I don't know what it is. I just be blaming everything on being poor. Like we just didn't have pillows. I don't know. Sleeping on the floor. That's why I like hard mattresses. I don't know. But I like very firm mattresses. So this pregnancy pillow I got, it's like the pillow is too high up and it's too soft. It's too squishy. So I don't sleep with it anymore, but I'm getting to the point where like this morning I woke up and my back was aching, like just throbbing. And I'm like, oh God, I must have slept, something weird. Elizabeth said, after having my baby, because my water broke, I lost so much weight fast after I was at my lowest weight ever. My mom always looked her best right after she had a baby. Like her skin was just glowing. She was so like, she just lost her weight very quickly. So I'm hoping that I can take after. I'm sorry. I'm hoping I can take after my mom. Raw dogging on the mattress can be taken out of context. You're right. I probably should have said something different. I meant like, I'm just winging it. Yes, intermittent fasting is great. Helps control your insulin, glucose levels. Helps stop carb cravings. Yes, I reaped all those benefits because I am someone who eats a lot of sugar, and that was really hard for me. So not having a bunch of sugar in the morning helped, regulate my body. And because we were waiting a lot, you got to pin the comments, honey, like that. There we go. I just realized this name. Pay me no mind. I'm insane. That's clever. It took me a minute to read it. And I'm excited. That's something I miss the most because now I don't have a choice. Nick will be like, "Do you eat?" I'm like, "I don't have a choice. I have to eat. You could just sit there luxury and not eat until 2 PM. I got to wake up and the first thing I got to do is get something in my body or it's going to turn on me and I'm going to be sick all day." So are you going to breastfeed? That helps with losing weight faster after birth. Yes, we plan on breastfeeding. We are talking to we talk to the midwife about it all the time, like basically the best methods, what to do, what not to do. So I'm hoping that I have great success and I can breastfeed the whole time, as for as long as necessary. I'm very excited that. Who is that Wilf calling you honey? I got some cat callers in my live chat. But some other things on this like birth plan is like, how do you want to deliver the placenta? Like, I'm like, what do you mean? Are there other ways? I guess you can force it or it'll come naturally, but I think there's like a certain window of time that you have to do it by. I'm not going to act like I know it all because I don't know it all. I'm very confident, so it makes it seem like I know it all, but I just want to do what's the most natural, like the least amount of involvement possible. And I know that's crazy, but please don't eat it. Listen, we all have guilty pleasures, and mine is terrible reality TV such as the Kardashians. And I know we watched that episode where Kim pretended like she made the placenta. She had like a dinner party and they were all eating and she told them it was the placenta that they just ate her placenta, and it was like a big funny thing. But I always think of that episode and it's like, I'm not going to eat it. Your attention is on the baby, not placenta. What cravings do you have? Honestly, I don't have any cravings. The only thing, I'm not a big fast food eater, but I eat Chick-fil-A like once a week right now. I just get a really large unsweet tea and I want like 5 of those Polynesian sauces, 5 or 6 of them. They give me 4. I'm like, that's not enough. I need more. He's yelling again. That family is so crazy. I know, but it's like a car accident. You can't look away from the Kardashians. You're just like, they're so stupid. Like, but what happened next, So, plus it's also like you can relate when there's 5 girls and then we're 5 girls. You know what I mean? Like that whole dynamic. You can kind of understand how that sister stuff works. So, for a while there, my wife was breastfeeding 2 babies at once. Well, if we have another kid shortly after, which we probably won't wait that long, me and my sister are 18 months apart, and it's now that I'm older, it's such a blessing. So grateful for that because, it's just like, it's like literally like having a twin, someone that literally you grow up together and you have life experience. And she's the only one that knows what my life was like, as close to me as I can get it. You know what I mean? So I would like to do the same thing. And, but that's what happens. You're breastfeeding, and then you have another baby, and then they call it tandem breastfeeding. And that's like, should be like a sport because, oh my goodness. Really, Nick? Would you vote for Caitlyn Jenner given her commitment to eradicating critical race theory? Bruce is a strange one, huh? It takes a woman body 2 years to recover from having a baby. That's what I heard. That's why they always say, wait, until your body's ready. And I know it's common for a lot of women to have miscarriages if they get pregnant, like right after they have a baby. I know that's pretty common. And I think, again, your body's just not ready to go through that again. I mean, my body has been, it ain't been the same since February, y'all. Okay. I woke up one day and I was like, Leo's acted weird. And I'm looking at him like, you know something I don't know? And a week later, I found out I'm pregnant. So it's like, it ain't been the same since. I look back and I'm like, man, all those weeks I was trying to have a baby. Little did I know I was living the good old days, right? What was I going to say? Oh, Mickey said I was an only child and it sucked. I have had a friend that was an only child, and they're just like, they're not different, but they're always like really close with their cousins or something because they don't have, it's just a different kind of, you just grow up different. And I would rather have 100 siblings than just have me by myself. But I think when you're young, it's like a dream to be like the only child. You're like, man, those kids are so lucky, they get everything. But it's like, yeah, but you don't realize how much you have, like fighting with your brother and sister your whole life growing up. It's different. My sister is the only person that will literally laugh at every single thing that I laugh at because it's funny. And like, there'd be so many things, like I have a dry sense of humor. And like the things I think are funny, like, for example, I'll like post something on Facebook and maybe no one will like it, but my sister will like it because she gets it. You know what I mean? And I think that's hilarious because it's like, finally someone that gets your sense of humor. Like Nick's probably the second person that can get my sense of humor. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Let's see. Bruce is a strange one. My sister and I had our babies 5 days apart. My sister's trying to get pregnant right now. That'd be awesome. Let's see. They took their brand of stupidity to the bank, though. For many seasons did they have people looking at the stupidity. Kris Jenner was a genius. Oh, you know what they always say? The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. And that's like the quote that explains her so well. You'll think you got her. You think you got that family cornered, a big scandal, and Kris Jenner just works overnight, and boom, it's the next best-selling TV show. Twins in the middle. I had an only child, and now she has an only child. I'm wondering, were you really close with like your cousins or anything, or was it just you? Because then Elizabeth said you grow up faster because you're always around more. You're around more adults than children. So I'm wondering if that's true, if that was your experience. Nick asking me to send the link, and I don't know how to do that. I was not spoiled. I lived with my mom and grandma. Well, Mickey, maybe you can say your experience of, did you feel like you grew up faster because you were around like more adults, or what have you? Or were you more close to like cousins or, something like that? My 62-year-old twin brother is my best friend. See, and that's what I want. What an intruder.
Do you want me to help you?
Sure. Is Lexi trying to get on?
No. I just said that to be silly.
Oh, well. Okay. Okay, see, Mickey was closer to cousin Pool Tears wasn't. My hubby was an only child. He wanted to have a baseball team of kids. That's like, I always joke, like, we're going to have a baseball team. Oh my God, she still insisted on cutting his food. That's hilarious. That's crazy. I think it's because I'm from such a big family. I literally can't even conceptualize that. When I was growing up, we had like a piece of property. I don't know who owned the property, but it had one trailer on it, and that's where my grandma and my pop-up lived. Across their trailer was my aunt BJ's trailer with her two kids and my uncle Mike. And then my aunt Marie lived with my aunt BJ in that trailer, that 3-bedroom trailer, because she was getting her house built. So that's that side. And then next door, my mom built like a double wide, and that's where we live. So for like some of my core memories, you see how close I lived to my cousins and my grandparents. And so I can't even conceptualize, one, being an only child because I have 7 siblings, but also 2, like not even being close with my cousins or something. Like we just literally grew up together. And I am the 3rd oldest of my cousins. So all of my mom and her sisters had kids all around the same time. So it's me. And then my 2 older cousins were all within a couple years of each other, like 3 years. And then the next round, and then another round. That's like how the kids go in our family. So nice to have family around. Babies are little. They can be such help. Childcare is pricey. My friend's son is in Southern Florida, and childcare is $1,500 a month. Ugh. That made me like burp, that price. I've heard that childcare is like literally at like a second mortgage. And Nick and I are saving so that I can take 4 months off of work. We got set back a little bit on our goal because of Leo being in the hospital and going to the vet a lot. It kind of took a couple $1,000s out of our savings that was for the baby. So we're a little bit behind, but my goal is to take off for 4 months. And then you guys know that my parents just moved down here. They're 2 hours away. And Nick and I actually have opposite schedules. So he works during the day and I work at the night. So I am going to have my fingers crossed that my baby doesn't need childcare. And I don't have to pay for that. I'm grateful for my job, but oh my goodness. Could you imagine if that was your only option? Like I think about, for example, being a single mom, like who's helping you pay for that? You got to make so much money. What? It's like insane. You have to make money to pay for your regular life, pay for the childcare, and then like I just don't know how women do it. I really don't. It's literally robbery. And I read this parenting book it was a French parenting book about their like childcare there, and it's just different, and it seems like it works for them. Become a vlog channel. Nick and I are that's kind of what we're trying to do here, like share our life, being open with you guys and sharing our experiences and talking to you guys about stuff, and it works. So if you like this content, just like the channel, subscribe, or send to someone you might enjoy it as well, because as you know, I don't really have like a theme. I'm kind of just we're going off rip here. I just like think of something that I think I'm passionate about, because you guys can tell when I'm passionate about something, and when I'm sharing it with you, and also being along with this journey. And I would love to do daily vlogs like Diana says, but it's really hard to do it every day. Like today, I didn't feel good. I told you guys I'm having really bad back pain, so I started to lay down, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get up because I got a live stream in 10 minutes, so I gotta hurry smack some makeup on my face so they're not like freaking out. Who is this stranger on the screen? But it's hard, but I still want to try to stick to it. Right now, I think I'm doing 1 or 2 a week. And as I start to get more comfortable, because I'm sure you guys can tell if you watch my first live stream to now, I'm definitely getting more comfortable. And I think it'll only get better. As long as the people are there to listen, I'm here to talk. So we love you and Nick. It doesn't matter what the subject is. And that's what I've noticed, and I appreciate that. So it's like, we're just sharing our experiences. That's why I always like update you guys on Leo, because you guys actually care, and we're kind of on this journey together. And I'm like, I gotta let them know what's going on. It's so different. It's so different from last week, from when I shared with you guys, right? Like, we actually know so much more. If you look at my lives from last week, you can tell, like, I didn't look good. You can tell I was, I was like going through it. I was more stressed, and you can tell I'm like, everyone keeps saying, you have a glow, you have a glow. And I'm just happier now. Like, I have understand what's going on. My dog, I don't fear my dog is going to die, which I told you guys I literally could not handle. When I was leaving the vet, when I got the ultrasound Tuesday, when I was leaving the vet, I had to drive home from Clearwater, and the whole way I'm crying. And it's truly tears of joy, because, oh, thank God he's like, okay. It's like, I feel like I'm finally taking a deep breath. I feel like I've been holding my breath all week and, waiting to figure out what was wrong with him. And so I was just crying of tears of joy in a way. And also realizing that I'm not ready for him to leave me. He has been my rock, my whole adulthood life. That's been my baby, 7 years. I spent my 20s with this dog, and I'm not ready to let him go, So that's kind of where I was going through, and being able to share that with you guys. And then most of you guys can relate. Anytime my dogs come on here, the whole chat just lights up. Everyone is just, or Hugh, the cat, everyone's just got something to say and can relate. And that's the kind of conversation I like. And someone says, let's see, will you ever do a call-in show? Nick wants me to do that, where I have people call in. He's got all these ideas. He's my manager. And I always tell him I'm going to fire him. Maybe, we'll see. Yep. I was a single mom that has their kids. I had to pay $2.25 an hour per child. Sleep as a medical professional. My time was, see, that's why I look back and I'm like, my mom was truly awesome, because having 5 kids, and she was a single mom. So out of the 5 kids, me and my sister Alexis have the same dad, and that was the only dad that was present. So the rest were truly single parents. And, I said she worked 2 jobs. So she was an accountant for a little bit, but she also worked nights. And like, it's just amazing how she did it, and still was such a good mom that it made losing her so hard. You know what I mean? Like, and I think I turned out pretty all right. I learned so many things from my mom. Like, it's just crazy. I don't know how you guys do it. And it's just, what is the difference between a vlog and blog? Yeah, I don't know what the actual verbiage is, but video log is, yes. So I'm doing a vlog because I'm logging via video what I'm doing, sharing with you guys. It's like the new age. And a blog would be like written, or you can still probably find them online typed out. That's how I understand it. Anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a big adjustment for pets too when babies come into the home. I and everyone keeps saying this. I know it is. I am so excited. I feel like this is how moms feel when they like, you're going to be a big brother or big sister, because I am so excited. Leo is just so protective, but like gentle. He's not like aggressive protective, but he is just, he's just, I just can't wait. I'm so excited for that. And also Rue is just so playful. Like, she's going to love having like a boy to be like rough with, you know what I mean? Someone to throw the ball with outside. And it's just, I'm really excited. And the cat is just, you can do whatever you want. You can pick the cat up, you can play with him, he's one of those easy cats. So I'm so excited. And I'm excited for them to meet him. I have no negative thoughts about it or emotions. Like they'll probably be a little. Rue is jealous. She'll be a little jealous. She doesn't even like when you pet Leo and not her. She goes crazy. So Nick's gonna have to work with her. If you guys didn't know, Leo is pretty much on bed rest for the next month, and that's gonna be so hard on Rue because she is just rambunctious and rough. Said him. She would have been a good grandmother. Absolutely. I say my mom had 5 girls, and I just know she would be so excited to have a grandson because she loved having her big girl family, but I think something would have been so perfect for her. She would have felt so excited to just have a boy. Like it's like a new adventure for her as well. And when I found out it was a boy, that was something that gave me comfort, like knowing that. Oddly, I feel like my mom would be happy about this choice. So, I'm full of tears. I just read your comment. I'm not going to put it up there because I just, but that's a lot of the case. Like you go through you have these experiences through life that make you stronger, and it's like I did it tired, I did it broke, I did it sad, I did it injured or whatever the situation. You just did it, like you just got it done, and that's what you did. So, oh my gosh, couldn't you imagine the first picture of your fur babies and baby van? I can't. It's gonna be so exciting. You guys know that my dogs are very photogenic. They love to smile for the camera. And look, we'll just put a little baby right there. Boom. My photographer is gonna love it. It's gonna be so fun. I can't wait for that. We decided we're not gonna get like family pictures done when he's a newborn. We're gonna wait like 6 months or maybe a year to do like family pictures because I don't want to be like this and I'm still like chunky, I want to give myself some time to bounce back. Oh, here we go. My kids are 30 and 33 and I'm still waiting to be a grandma. Oh, careers first, I guess. Listen, patience, my parents waited a long time. Not that long, but long enough, right? And now look at them, blessing them. Well worth the wait. I wish I could speak Spanish. There's someone in there speaking Spanish. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm pretty decent with pictures, taking pictures of them, but I'm gonna hire someone to do it because I heard it gets pretty crazy once you have a kid in the picture. And oh, Mickey Flynn, you went from being an only child to 7 grandkids. You got blessed, that's for sure. Thank you. We're excited. We were talking to a therapist last week, and we were saying, we look at our families, or we look at like these challenges, and you think about having a baby, and we're just like, this is gonna be fun. Like we're not being naive. We just know it's gonna be fun. Like we know it's gonna be hard. We know it's gonna, we're not gonna sleep, and it's gonna be hard, but it's going to be fun. Like that's what we think about, all the fun times that are ahead. And she's like, that's such a positive way to look at it because, I can tell you're not being naive. You're not acting like you don't like know it's going to be hard, but, it's nothing but positive thoughts are coming. And I've been having dreams. I've been having labor dreams the past couple nights, but they're very positive and good dreams. Like it's exciting. So that's what someone said. They look how glowing you are, sweet girl. When your smile real big, your eyes light up. Thank you. Well, Leo is an ESA, emotional support. I got him that because I got a new job and I wanted to take him to work. And we would take him to nursing home. So I was working for my Nana's business for a little bit, which is she takes care of seniors in their home. And oh my God, you know how much, you go into a nursing home, they like just love petting on these golden retrievers, and Leo's got all the love to give. So he was an emotional support, not just for me but all of us, And I woke up one morning screaming, "Don't sit on me." They said that's the case, right? But we're really excited. So I think waiting later in life was the best decision for us, because now having a kid we're not worried about anything. We really are. Not to sound naive, but I'm speaking for myself. I'm sure Nick has his own dad worries. And but me looking ahead, like there ain't nothing that I can't do. There is nothing that I can't get through or we can't get through. It's really just getting through it together. And as long as my baby is healthy and I'm healthy, it's going to be all right. Right? So I think that's kind of where we're at. And it worked out perfectly. And if when you're like a teenager and you have your life plan, you're like, I'm going to be married by 21. I'm going to have a house by 19 and a half. And my career will be set in stone. I'm going to be a billionaire at the age of 26. And then I'll have my kids, like how we do that. You just like imagine your life, and my life's a little off track. It's fine. It's way later than my little paper mache thing said I was supposed to. But for some reason, I thought you just like get wrinkly and you turn 30 and immediately you're old. I don't know why do we think 30 is old when we're young, but you're just like, ooh, 30, damn. But really, I'm like, I could definitely see how easy it could be to wait till you're 30, because, I have a friend right now who's my age, and she just bought a house. She's going to get married, but she's super into her career right now. So I'm like, you want a baby, you want a baby girl, have a baby with me. But she, she's just not ready. And that's because right now her career is her big thing. So, you both will do amazing. We're excited. Hopefully. I need to block this person. There we go. To my husband and I never fought until it came to discipline. Mickey, I just blocked him. I didn't know who he was, but anyway, my husband and I never fought until it came time to discipline the kids. If you can sit down together and decide how you plan on raising, discipline, correcting, schooling, sports, can you please come and influence my kids to have kids? You got to send them to my channel. I don't know. But we talk about things all the time. Like, I'm like, the other day I was like, let's talk. How about we agree that if our child, when he's old enough to get up on his own and like come out of the room, if it's earlier than 8 o'clock, we make him go back in the room. Therefore, they don't leave their bedroom till 8 a.m. Is that something we can agree on? Because Mama can't get up at 7, 6, 5 a.m. And he was like, yeah, we can agree on that. All right, great. So, when I think it's something, I bring it up now. My mom would always say, don't wake me up if it ain't double digits. And I still, to this day, don't wake me up if it ain't double digits, okay? I had discipline with paint stirrers. One day the guy asked me if the paint sticks were for pain or discipline. Yeah, I had a couple wooden spoons broken on these cheeks. But that's why I'm so tough now. I told Nick, like, I'm a good discipliner, but I'm also gonna be like, wait till your dad gets home. I'm gonna make him do a little bit of it. I'm gonna be the good guy sometimes. Heard. Block user. Thank you. Pay me no mind. I'm insane. I just did it. Like I said, I didn't know. It was kind of annoying, but you don't want to be like, I don't know what's going on. So I just blocked him. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm still used to it. My chats, my live streams aren't big enough to have like a lot. You know how if you watch Nick or any of those guys' chats, they'll have like a bunch of people in there and they have to have like 20 mods. Well, that's not really the case. So I'm not used to having like weird people in my chat because it's usually just the same, 30 or 40 people, give or take, switching in and out. And so we're just here. But yeah, Nick, be serious, interesting. All right, so I got to work tonight. I got to work at 6, so it's 4:45 here. So I'm going to wrap it up, and I just blocked those creepy people, and I will again share my content. Like I said, if you got people that might know what might be able to contribute to our conversation or might enjoy our live streams or follow in our family or can relate or anything like that, just go ahead and like and subscribe and send this to them. And I'll be back. I'll think of something else, a new video, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. And stay tuned for our virtual baby shower. We're gonna think of a date in about a month or so. We'll plan a date for September, and then so you guys can all be a part of it. But it'll be a really good time. So thanks everyone for joining, and I'll talk to you guys next time.